this story about Apple reportedly working on touchscreen Macs. Now, back in the day, I still have a memory of Steve Jobs standing in front of the world saying, touchscreens don't want to be vertical. And he famously scoffed at the whole thing. The idea being that, say, if you've got a laptop in front of you or, a desktop screen, the more or the longer you keep your hand raised to touch a screen that's vertical, the worse the more pain you're going to feel. So in other words, it wasn't a very good ergonomic sort of reasoning, or it wasn't a good ergonomic way to interact with the device. Henceforth, they just never put touchscreens on Macs to this day, so there isn't one now. Now, apparently, there's been a flood of rumors about a whole bunch of things related to Apple in January already of 2023, and this is one of them, that they're apparently working on a touchscreen Mac, and with an OLED display, no less. Now, the first thing that I thought of is, they've been working on a touchscreen Mac in the lab since the year 2000 anyway. So,
well, of course, they've got the iPad, so
so it just kind of makes me wonder: is this actually what it is, or are they actually looking at doing it? I still don't know what the actual reasoning is, unless the only thing I can think of is that they've got a new form factor that they're going to release, which I guess would be a 2-in-1 type device where it can flip over and be used that way. But it doesn't. I mean, for them to wait this long to bring that out, I'm not entirely sure why they would do it.
well, the timing is good because we finished last week's episode on this note. And, I mentioned my HP laptop with a touch screen, which on day one I folded back, used it as a tablet, stuck my fingers all over the screen, and then haven't touched the screen again since. So, given that we know that Apple has had touchscreen capability for a long time, it can't just be any product they've got today with a touch screen. And my guess is it'll be, say, maybe something a bit more like a Surface with the keyboard sort of inbuilt. I don't know, but that would be my guess.
But isn't that an iPad Pro already? Because you can buy a keyboard for that.
Well, there you go. Maybe it'll be the iPad Pro Max.
Exactly. Well, they keep talking about a 14-inch
screen
iPad that apparently was in the works. One thought I did have is we talked about that Lenovo Yoga 9i last week, and maybe that, if it's a form factor like that with two screens, maybe that might make sense.
Well, that's right. I mean, that could be the other thing, but if they go to a touchscreen keyboard, there'll be a lot of detractors for that. When the iPad first came out, I remember us doing one of the episodes and I typed up all my notes and in fact was writing quite frequently just on an iPad, just on a touchscreen keyboard. Didn't enjoy it overly, but it wasn't impossible. I wouldn't write 15,000 words on one, but 400-500, no problem. And you think, so maybe that's what Apple will go for here. It would have to be, I think, as you say, dual screen. And it would have to be tabletish, but with added benefits. So that sort of points to a dual screen. And you'd think it'd have to be a touchscreen keyboard, wouldn't it?
I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they play it and how they fit it into the lineup, because they've got 10,000 iPads to choose from at the moment, and then they've got a lot of really good Macs to purchase or to that are on offer. And if there was going to be a time when they were going to shake up the form factors of the Mac, then the introduction of the M1 and the M2 is probably a good time to do it, because they've got the chips now that they could pretty much make any form factor, and it's amazing.
That's right, but you hit the nail on the head with the Apple range. Just getting back to 1996 era, just pre-Steve Jobs, where they had 10,000 products that all seemed to be the same but look different. Yeah. I guess Apple, has never been afraid to cannibalize an existing market by tweaking something or adding something new in. And I think that this is probably no different, but, I think there comes a point where we're saturated and confused and don't know whether I need an iPhone Pro Max or an iPad Pro or a MacBook Pro or some other Pro Max device.
And just on a side tangent, mentioning the iPhone Max size phones. Apparently, the rumors are for the iPhone 15 is that they're going to rebrand it as an Ultra and then jack the price up so they can justify why the lower end, what they would consider the lower end flagships, cost as much as they do, because apparently the 14 Plus isn't selling out of the gate at the moment.
Well, I can imagine, but what would you do if you put a ultra chip into an iPhone? I mean, that'd be one smoking device.
Well, maybe it'll be Ultra in price only, if that's the case.
I guess maybe then you start offering lens kits with it or something, and just turn it into basically a camera, because that would be amazing.